everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea. I hope you have had some wonderful holidays. I have been visiting my parents for a few days and I'm still here now. This is my room at my parents' house. And even though it's my room when I come visit, it's never one I actually lived in because they moved in here right before I started university. So this is kind of like a bed and a place where I store half my books. So I don't have like a lot of memories here. But it's always nice to visit, and this particular visit was nice because it snowed in the most magical way around the Christmas time, and it was so nice. I took some footage, I'll put it up, and it's just been like a nice kind of storybook look-alike, you know, in the forest. A few things before I get into the bookshelf tour. First, yes, these are all the books that I've personally collected over the last 8 years, but a few things you should know. Number one, I studied English Lit for 4 years, and that required a lot of book buying. I took summer school every year as well, so I had, 3 semesters a year for 4 years, and then after that, I studied both librarianship and book history and print culture, which made me really interested in rare books, first editions, paper, and all kinds of books about art or book production. So it really kind of added up over time. And the last thing, you might think, wow, a librarian, clearly your collection must be so organized. It's not. I used to organize my books according to which authors I thought would get along. And it was nice, and it worked, and I formed little cliques of authors based on their personalities. But over time, it kind of got to be like the Avengers, where I had far too many authors with far too many conflicting personalities. So now they're just all at random, and I know their order in my head because I know where they are individually. But if someone were to walk in here and try to figure out any kind of order, they wouldn't find any. So I'm sorry. So let's get into it. So first off, the little stand was on top of The Blood of Elves and a James Joyce biography and letters to James Joyce next to Sven. Now, there are 2 bookshelves, a poster for the Sci-Fi Library in Toronto, and then over there are some books. And the ones on top are books I will be discussing in the next few videos, so they're kind of like spoilers. Then I have a purse shaped like A Tale of Two Cities, and a portrait of Virginia Woolf, and a clock. So this is kind of the entire room. And then here I have boxes of things I will be taking with me this round. Every time I visit my parents, I take 2 or 3 more boxes with me back to my place. So let's start over here. Here I have a book on the Titanic, some Latin workbooks, and an omnibus of Charles Darwin's works. This is Barry White. Next to Barry is the Miss Peregrine's School of Peculiar Children, a thesaurus, a dictionary, Northern Anthology of English Lit, Latin. And then I have some children's literature kind of reference books. One for Canadian children's books, one for just general, the Dictionary of Mythology, and these are all kind of art books and art history. And then here I have Chaucer in the corner, then the Divine Comedy, medieval drama, Around the World in 80 Days, the Bayeux Tapestry. Oh, actually, this book is The Happy Prince by Oscar Wilde in Romanian. This is actually my dad's book from when he was 7 years old. It's something he got at the end of grade 1. Then I have another edition of the Kalevala, all the Mark Twains, Peculiar Tales, the Met guide, so a lot more art, History of Renard de Fox, more medieval books, Arthurian romances, 15 Dogs, Canadian book. I went to Coach House where they were printing this, so it was really cool to see the process of printing this book. Then I have Nicholas Nickleby in 2 volumes, The Forgotten Garden, James Coetzee, and The Life and Times of Michael Kay, and 2 of Tolstoy's earlier works. And then hiding in the back here is actually something quite special. Okay, so the quite special book is a rare book. Oops. So it's Plutarch's Lives, Volume 2. It's, I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually on laid paper, and you can see the watermark and the lines. And it's really quite impressive. It's from 1778 and it's a third edition. And as most of you know, the first edition of Thomas North translated Plutarch's Lives would have been used by William Shakespeare as a source for his history plays. I found this at a flea market sale in Oxford, so the person there didn't know what they had and they gave it to me for £2. That was funny. I have History of Russia, Gravity's Rainbow, Gone with the Wind, 100 Years of Solitude. Ooh, An Inheritance of Ashes. This one's actually signed by the author for me because she works at one of my favorite bookstores. So that was really cool. Then I have a few Nabokov, Kafka, Pamuk, Tolkien, The Lost Art of Reading Nature's Signs. Love this book. I did a written review. Another Plutarch's Lives, but this is a lot newer than the last one. Some Douglas Adams is like a funny made-up dictionary. Chernyshev like What Is to Be Done. Gogol, Tolstoy again, another Gogol. Oh, here's one that I have never read. The Gorman Gost novels. J.M. Barrie's biography, one of a few. Ooh, okay, this one's really pretty. This is Pushkin's work. And oh my god. So if you take it out of the box, it looks like this. It matches the box. And inside, it is so beautiful. Okay. Alexander Pushkin. And look at these prints. Oh, so beautiful. Collected poems of William Blake, Lives of Poets, War and Peace in 3 volumes, Machiavelli, Rousseau, Madame Bovary, Medieval Scottish Poetry, 2 copies of Les Mis. This one was actually a gift, and this is one I got myself when I read it in high school, and I got a little tape of the musical, which is my absolute favorite musical of all times. Some Nietzsche, some Sartre. Ooh, this one's cool. The Manual of Painting and Calligraphy by Saramago. Some Charles Dickens, and then these I had to study for school, so I have The Early History of Rome, Dangerous Liaisons, Leviathan, and then The Chronicles of Narnia. I told you there's no order to this. Another anthology of children's lit, Alice Munro, The Two Rainbow Rowell. Actually, this one is signed. Correspondence of George Bernard Shaw and his partner. Some George Sand, some Shakespeare, some poetry. Flowers of Evil by Baudelaire, some David Hume, some more Nietzsche. This is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Embassy Town. Oh, okay, Eugen Ionescu. This is a Romanian author. He's a playwright, but most people have read him in French. Johnson. Okay, this is Recherche du Temps Perdu by Proust. I have the 4 volumes here. And then back here hiding are the short stories of Guy de Maupassant. Okay, here we have Eliot, Wittgenstein, Pygmalion, Camus, The Plague, the first of The Master and Commander, another George Sand. Curious Invitation is a book about all the famous parties in literature. Bradbury, James Fenimore Cooper, F. Scott Fitzgerald. So yeah, the Curious Case of Benjamin Button is just like a 20-page short story, so that kind of took me by surprise. The Forsyte Saga, The Sunrise Rises and For Whom the Bell Tolls by Hemingway. Silk by Alessandro Baricco. I got the movie cover because that's all I could find. Some fairy tales. Horkheimer and Adorno's Dialect of Enlightenment. Okay, here's a pretty one. So this is The Life on the Mississippi by Mark Twain from the Folio Society. When you take it out of this box, it looks so pretty. And here's a young Mark Twain. And Life on the Mississippi. I love it. And right next to it is the beautiful Grey's Anatomy. I used to be a little bit of an artist. I still am. And I used a lot of biology textbooks to kind of learn how to draw muscles. You can take it out of its box. It looks like this. And it's so pretty. Oh my god. Yeah. So obviously the best parts are the diagrams and the beautiful bones. Look at that. Okay, then we have The Tale of Genji and the omnibus of the trilogy from Joe Walton and all the John Green boxed set. Obviously, I'm missing the turtles all the way down, but that's okay. Here's Grumpy. Okay, so the next shelf. Here we have the Tolkien guide or companion, which you already know about from the Tolkien video. And I'll link it below because Tolkien got his own video for what I have. Then I have Pillars of the Earth. This is actually a first edition, but I have the other edition back at my apartment. Some other plays, poetry. This poet was my professor, and I think I got this one signed too. Yep, here we go. That was 2011. And I have Kipling's books in verse, some Anais Nin. Ooh, okay. So this is the History of the University of Toronto. And I had to get it because, I don't know, I spent 6 years there, so it's important to me. So next to it, I have Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. And this is also signed by Margaret Atwood. Then Mozart's biography, also very beautiful. It's just, you know, a biography. The only thing that's special is kind of its format, and I really love this book. It's very pretty. So Marilyn Monroe, T.S. Eliot, biography of George MacDonald, the trilogy by Margaret Atwood, the trilogy by Lev Grossman. This is Alan Moore's Jerusalem in 3 volumes, and Tom Jones, but upside down, apparently. I have the Hunger Games, and now we're getting into kind of these ones are really special to me. So I will show them to you one by one. So the first one is Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. As you know, this is my favorite children's book of all times. It is extremely rare. It is from 1910, and it's illustrated by Arthur Rockham, and it is just so beautiful. I love it so much. So much. Look, the fairies. Then I have Jane Barrie's Other Tales and the Little Ministers in it. Another kind of old book, but this one is special because of other reasons. I love it. This is my rare copy of Pinocchio, The Tale of a Puppet, and it's gorgeous. I love inscriptions like these where you can tell that someone gave it to someone else long ago and it was important to them. And this is the kind of cover. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. Then I needed to get a first edition of Lincoln and the Bardo, and it's signed by George Saunders. So, I mean, it felt pretty important when I read it last year, so I had to get my hands on one of these. Then the collected poems of E.J. Pratt. I used to work at a library named after this poet, so he became instantly special to me because that's the library I realized I wanted to be a librarian. So that's E.J. Pratt, and this is also signed by him in 1944. These are more of his poems, and this one came with a newspaper article about the college I went to. After that, we have Robert Louis Stevenson's collected works, some Steinbeck collected works, the Iliad, the Oxford Book of Villains, the 2 novels by Foer, some Northrop Frye criticism, so one on Shakespeare, one on criticism, one on the Bible and literature, and one is called The Well-Tempered Critic, which, fun fact, used to be what I thought I would name this channel. The Wida, it's a pirate's book. I got this for review last year and I really liked it. It's for children. Then I have this one, also signed. To Brian Selznick, more about Lord of the Rings. Again, I have a Tolkien video. Plays of J.M. Barrie, The Witch's Bible. Mircea Eliade is one Romanian anthropologist who actually was translated. He's the first person to compile all the world's religions, and there's a lot on him, so you can Google it. So there's a lot on him. I'm just mentioning it because in my Romanian video, people have asked me for more Romanian writers. He's one that's actually been translated a lot. Then I have the short stories of Hemingway in another folio edition. This is the cover when you take it out of the box, and it's white, but then at the top it's red. You know, just short stories by Hemingway. I should probably put it down there with the other Hemingways. Then it's 20th century poetry, the Giver Quartet, a few Reader's Digest because I can't resist these covers. I actually really like the Reader's Digest. The Sea Wolf, some more Mark Twain short stories, Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence, and The Three Musketeers. Then I have Myths of This World, biography of C.S. Lewis, an omnibus of all of the Tarzan of the Apes, and the complete poems of Walter de la Mare. And then here I have the diary of Tolstoy's wife. This is Mihai Eminescu, a Romanian poet, the greatest. And, ooh, okay, this one I have to show you. So this is a book by Washington Irving, okay? It's called Conquest of Grenada, or Granada. But what is extraordinary about this book is that it was published, obviously, way before World War II. So the lining of the paper includes little swastikas. And these are known to be swastikas in end pages. But of course, this was before they meant what they mean now. Kind of interesting. So Washington Irving, illustrated, and it's from 1894. So Jonathan Franzen, Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Alan Moore, the biography of Richard Yates. Oh, I have to show you this one. This is the songs and poems of Robert Burns. I got it at a rare book sale, and it has deckled edges, as you can see, and it's really old. But what is extraordinary about this book is that I think someone made this their kind of special project, because all of the illustrations are personally glued in. Like, this is not printed on the page. Like, these are pasted in by somebody. So I think this is kind of one of a kind, maybe, or very few exist. So again, like, these are all pasted in. So really cool. I had to get it just for the illustrations. I mean, look at this. So pretty. And Robert Burns, you know, amazing poet. Okay, biography of Van Gogh, biography of Albert Camus, the 4 Jane Austens that I didn't take with me, which is Sense and Sensibility, Emma Mansfield Park, and Northanger Abbey. And here we have H.G. Wells. So this is his biography in the corner. And then we have a lot of his short stories. And then he wrote The Outline of History, which is really detailed. I can't believe one person did all of this. And then this is The Shape of Things to Come, where he basically predicted World War II and what followed. And then here is just a little collection of The War of the Worlds and The Invisible Man and The Time Machine. I have a few others of his back at my apartment. A book on Animator Survival Guide, The Beatrice Letters by Lemony Snicket, Soldiers in War, George Sand's biography. This is a Norton Anthology of American Lit. Oh, Lawrence Hill, The Book of Negroes. So this is another book. I met Lawrence Hill once. He came to our school, which was really cool. And he signed it too, obviously. I wasn't gonna go to him without the book. But this was in high school, and I can't say that I had like a super meaningful conversation because I was not well equipped to talk about literature yet. This is the biography of George Sand again, 2 more. And then Sherlock Holmes, or Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's biography, all of Edgar Allan Poe's short stories, The Art of Seduction, a really fancy copy of The Hobbit, which I've shown in detail in my Tolkien video. These are Poems for Life, biography of H.P. Lovecraft, Alchemy, Earthing. Oh, okay, so this is a facsimile. For those of you who might not know, a facsimile is when a book is printed now, but each page is almost an exact replica of a very old edition, so that you can see what it would have looked like on a very old copy. It usually tells you the year of the facsimile itself, so it's almost like a PDF or a printout of the old book. So I think for this one I was working with the 1883 for a project. Okay, Blindness, Saramago, Pushkin's biography, the Kama Sutra. This is a really old edition of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I am big on children's literature, and I used to collect a lot of these. This was brought to me by my roommate from India, so that was pretty cool because it came like from India. And then this is the biography of Johnny Cash, Dr. Seuss, some more books on art, then a bunch more books on Tolkien and Indian mythology, another Tolkien book. I'm skipping the Tolkiens. The complete works of Lewis Carroll, another Edgar Allan Poe, complete works of Arthur Conan Doyle, The Odyssey, the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, illuminated manuscripts. This was for a rare books class. Milton's Paradise Lost, The Illusion of Life, another book on Disney animation. This is where I learned all about scripts. So an entire course in university was dedicated to understanding each one of these scripts and being able to date them and locate them based on just the shape of the letters. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that course. Then a graphic canon and children's literature. I have some books on Lost and Once Upon a Time. Lost is my favorite show of all time. So I collected a lot of books about it. One day I'll do like 3 videos just on Lost. Then this is probably one of my favorite illustrated children's books because, come on, flying books. And this is my second favorite because, like, wow, those illustrations are just magical. Then I have Battle of Britain, World War II planes, Dita Von Teese, Your Beauty Mark, Marilyn Monroe, Disney's Ultimate Visual Guide, and so this book just focuses on magic. It is huge, okay? So, it is all about the history of magic and illusion and deception, from Harry Houdini to how it was interpreted in mainstream society with circus, magic, just everything related to sort of the history of magic in general. It is gorgeous. I had to have this. Okay, so I mentioned the boxes are going with me. That's my backpack. And here I have some other books. I have Nana by Emile Zola, some Heinlein, some Burroughs, Map of Time, Connie Willis, some Canadian Lit, Tennyson, Camus. I think this one's signed as well. Nicholas Eames ones. Sir Walter Scott. These are just here because they're tiny and they fit. I'm not saying they're not special to me, of course they are. Some Calculus, some Tolstoy, Gone Girl. These are some more Philip K. Dick. These are Men of Mathematics. This is a fun question book. Herman Hesse's poetry, another Peter Pan copy, A Tale of Two Cities. This is another J.M. Barrie biography, The Lost Boys. What the Dickens. I have the Ravenclaw edition, some Rilke's poetry, one of my favorite poets of all time. Yeah, so this book is also written by one of my favorite writers who works at a bookstore in Toronto, and she signed it for me, which was really, really nice. She writes a lot. This is like such a well-read book. I love her so much. And then, like I said, these are some books where I'm kind of working on videos for them now, so I won't spoil them. On the other side of the bed is a little, like, another copy of The Hobbit, another copy of The Bell Jar, some Stephen Crane, Clockwork Orange, 1984, The Erotic Spirit, Ovid, some Romanian stuff. These are poems over the years. And then I have, you know, like some notebooks and some yearbooks. So this is my sister's shelf, which used to be my shelf. I just gave it to her. And a bunch of these books used to be mine, but she got them now. So I'm not going to count them as mine anymore because I gave them up and they're hers now. But this is what she got for Christmas this year. And she's currently reading the second one. So I'm very excited to get her hooked on this now. Okay, so that's it. These are all the books that I have at my parents' house. So I will see you in the next video, which I'll make when I get back to my apartment, and you will see my other half, which again will have no order. So that's very exciting. Thank you if you stuck with me so far, and I will see you then. Bye!